Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday to everybody. New week, new money. This is Spin Doc, and thank you for watching this edition of the Spin Zone. Off yesterday, obviously, on Sundays, but we got a whole another set of pitchers to talk about today, a whole bunch to review from the weekend. So, want to get right into it. First things first, if you are tuning in, please make sure on X, and if you're watching on YouTube on the Daily Bread Network, please make sure to give this a like, give us a subscribe. For me at Spin Doc Sports and the Daily Bread Network on YouTube, it really, really helps us get our information out there. So if you could, please do us a favor and smash that like button. All right. So we always talk about first things first is what did we learn over the weekend? What did we learn over the weekend? And even though there was no show yesterday, there's still some things to learn from that too. And number one is I wanted to talk about is because we talked about it on Saturday about how I said that the Hunter Green line was a pick me line, right? Meaning it was like, ooh, 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 pick me, pick me. Now, those lines can be traps, and or they hit as well. So Hunter Green did hit that line. He got 8+, and that's why I told you if you're playing that one, the only way to play it is the over. I personally did not. I don't feel bad about it. I took the free lesson, and to be honest with you, Green started off hot. I mean, the Rockies were still being the Rockies, and it was interesting because Farmer, well, who is their highest contact guy, was not projected to be in the lineup, but actually was. And Green started off hot, slowed down considerably, and just got it 7.5, and he finished with 8. So that's why in those situations, regardless of what the line is that teams like the Rockies, teams like the Mariners, I would still say a few other ones, they their swing metrics are just so poor that no matter what, you're either playing the over or you're passing. Playing the under just simply is not an option for a team that swings that bad. So, nothing wrong with passing. There's nothing wrong with just taking the free lesson, but if you're playing it, then you gotta play the over. Next thing that I want to talk about is that this is the reason why we wait on lineups, because yesterday, even though there was no show, there was a pitcher who did not make my finalist list initially, but I had to add it back once I saw the god awful, hideous lineup that the Orioles put out there on the road against Tarek Skubal. I'm not sure if you saw that or not, but oh my, was that hideous. No Adley Rushman, no high contact guys. Kerstead, Westberg, I mean, all their high whiff guys were in there. That's where you have to be ready to pivot on a dime. And that's where I know I've talked about it on this show before, but if you're studying strikeout props, and if you're wondering, like should I play it, should I not? A good way to do that is to just double check once the lineup's released and see how it compares to the projected. And a good way to get instant lineup notifications, if you're not just like studying and refreshing this stuff like all the time, like I am, is that you can just subscribe to just follow and get alerts from Underdog MLB, Underdog underscore MLB. They have the fastest lineups that have come out. They often will update their stuff before, say, RotoWire will, so you can get a good comparison of actual to projected. So I personally have shots of the projected lineup in the morning, compare it to actual once it actually comes out. But had you done that, you would have seen that Orioles lineup was just hideous. And against a pitcher like Tarek Skubal at home on a Sunday moving day, no chance. They had no chance. Obviously, he just torched them, gave it out to VIP. We hit that. That was one of those pivot plays. So that is reason 1A. Not that you would have probably played an under on Tarek Skubal anyway, but that's reason 1A why I always wait for lineups to come out, because These lines are often set very tight. They're often set very close to what the projected lineup will be. And so if there is variation, you can often get a lot of value by jumping on a side, especially if a team wants to put a lineup out there like the Orioles did yesterday. There was a time about a week and a half ago where the Phillies did the exact, or the Giants did the exact same thing. They were playing the Phillies, and Christopher Sanchez was on the mound, and the Giants had just an absolutely hideous lineup out there, and Sanchez torched him for like 11 or 12. Skubal did the same thing. You also saw that with the Angels. The Angels had that yesterday as well to a certain extent. They had the top part of their lineup was normal, but the bottom of their lineup with Ohapi, Darnaud, Paris, Adele. I mean, every single one of them was a strikeout waiting to happen. So we played VIP. We played Joe Ryan in VIP, torched them. Murked him for 11. So it was pretty good. So another one, because I see it in the chat here from a few people. Just wanted to give a shout out to Mario. Good morning. And said, I know you've seen Hunter Brown again. I sure did. And Roger, good morning to you as well, saying Hunter Brown, 4.5 against Kansas City was so free. We're good at not laddering him up to like 7 or 8. Yeah. Hunter Brown against Kansas City was a good, ended up being a really good spot. I actually 4.5. I actually saw 5.5. It didn't really make a difference with how he pitched, but Hunter Brown pitched just a hell of a game yesterday. Pitched 6 innings, 9 Ks, 7 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk. Made a lot of the Kansas City hitters just look silly, including, of all people, Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt struck out 3 times yesterday. And it's funny because Salvi was in the lineup and Salvi didn't strike out at all. You would have thought that those might have been reversed, but Hunter Brown absolutely torched them. And I see Cover Kings welcome in saying that, Skubal 10 Ks. Yeah, that's what you got to do when you see those lineups is they are spots to attack. So not to say that if one guy or like 2 guys that are at the bottom of the lineup, because a lot of teams switch up. They're like 7 through 9 based on matchups and whatever, but it's like the top 3, but like the top 3 or 4 usually are pretty consistent. The Orioles lineup just looked like, it just looked so bad yesterday. So when you see those spots, those are spots where you can take advantage of. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was Dylan Cease on Saturday, because I talked about it, said I wanted to wait till a lineup came out and ended up passing on him. I thought that it would ride the line of being hooked or just covering, and it did. He only went 4 1/3. Ended up walking 4 guys, which based on the new swing metrics chart that we're going to go to in just a second, makes a lot of sense based on where the Rays are. They, especially with the addition of the young kid at the top. He was at the top of the lineup, but now he's at least just in the lineup. But Simpson, the young kid, who's a very patient hitter. Cease missed. When you looked at it on the surface, and if you would only compare his home stats, you would look to take an over. That's why we wait for lineups to come out, because it didn't make a lot of sense to take. It made no sense to take it after the lineup came out, and fading Dylan Cease on that line at home just, to me, didn't have enough value. So we threw it out and moved on. So one last one, shout out. Good morning to Mom Who Bets. Good morning to you as well. Always with us. So we will get into today. 3 pitchers to talk about. It's a shorter slate, only 9 games, but still some value to be had. And you guys had to know who I was going to talk about first. It's Jack Flaherty, of course. Jack Flaherty gets the Astros tonight, striking people out at a 30.6% clip. This game first pitch is at 8:10 p.m. And we have an over 6.5, which is nice plus money at plus 120, and an under 6.5, which is pretty heavily juiced at minus 154. So you go to Flaherty, and I see a few things. Number one is, despite his strikeout percentage for this season, he's got some home road splits, which is actually what he had last year as well. So only small sample size, only 2 road games this year, but only striking people out at a 20.9% clip, and just hasn't looked the same away from Detroit. The other thing that I've noticed too is that his walk percentage is up for the season. So walk percentage up to 9.3% in his 2 road starts. And then the other disparity that I notice is that he is, and this is across all starts, he is striking out lefties at a nice, great clip, actually, 35.8%, but compared to 25.9% for righties. So getting lefties a lot more than he's getting righties across all 4 starts. Now, I go and I look at who Flaherty has seen and what his results have been. So he did get the Dodgers to start the year. It's a team that is very familiar with him because he played for him last year. Then he's also gone against San Diego, who is a low strikeout team, well, or was, and torched them. That was at home. But then went to Milwaukee and really, really struggled. Really struggled at home, on the road with Milwaukee, and only picked up 4 strikeouts through 98 pitches. Just didn't look right all along. The other thing that I'm noticing about Flaherty this year is that his velo has been very up and down. It kind of depends on the game, because last year I've talked about him because I love the guy, how much his fastball can get, is more set up to get fouls and get into pitchers counts versus to get actual strikeouts. Now, this year, it's been a much different story, even with that, because four-seam fastball averages 93.3 miles per hour last year, down to 92.7 this year. The other thing is the whiff rate on that fastball is down from 23.9% to 12.9%. So he's not putting guys away with the fastball, which means that his overall pitching profile narrows, and then he's got to get guys with both his slider and his knuckle curve. Now, both of those pitches are still have healthy whiff rates, still have healthy K rates, and are still pitches that opponents are struggling to hit. The issue here is a couple fold for me to want to actually back Flaherty tonight. So first thing is that the Astros are projected to run 1 lefty and 8 righties. I would be shocked if their lineup is anything different than what they have here. And the only lefty is Jordan, who doesn't really strike out that much anyway. And I believe has seen Flaherty. I've seen Flaherty 9 times and has only struck out twice. So I'm not a big fan of the over right from the jump. I'm really not a big fan because as we will go to the swing metrics chart, here, and this chart is updated as of today. So this is updated. This is the last 2 weeks as of today. And so what I see here for these Astros is that they are making contact an incredible amount in the zone, 90.3%. Now, their chase contact is slightly above average, but they do chase above league average. And Flaherty is a guy who is in the zone right around league average. But when you chase against this man, that's when you whiff. So 41.2% chase contact allowed, which is way under pitcher average. That knuckle curve and the slider are the ones that really, really get you when you get in those 2 strike counts. The issue here is that when you look across this overall lineup here, what you see is you don't see a whole lot of whiff to a 4-seam fastball. You actually see a decent batting average to a 4-seam fastball for a number of these guys as well. So you got Altuve and Alvarez are both 18% or less. You got Yanni Diaz at 20. You got Jake Myers at 20. You got Paredes under 10%. You got Jeremy Pena at 13%. The only guy that really whiffs to a 4-seam fastball that's projected to be in the lineup is Christian Walker at 30.7%. Now, the other piece here is that they're also making a lot of contact with a four-seam fastball. So over half this lineup has a 37.5% or better hard hit rate against a four, and that's against all four seamers. Again, Jack's four seamer is not really meant to get guys out. It's more meant to get fouls. And you also have over half the lineup is against a four seam fastball specifically is batting 273 or better. So not a lot of fouls and putting the ball in play when you get that four seam fastball. So to get this team for strikeouts, Jack, to me, is going to have to rely on the slider and on the knuckle curve, and he's going to have to rely on guys chasing. So I go down to the projected lineup for the Astros, and Altuve does chase, but he makes a lot of chase contact. Yordan doesn't chase that much, makes contact, and you see that across the lineup. Caratini doesn't chase at all, makes great contact when he does. There's a few guys that do chase that are iffy on contact. Yanni Diaz would be one of them, and I believe that Pena would be another. One. Christian Walker would be a third. So that, to me, that doesn't really add up to 6.5. That doesn't add up to 7. Now that said, and I saw Cover King said, like, do you want to pay minus 150 for it? Yeah, I'm not sure that I want to either. For an under in this one, I mean, the stars certainly align with the under. I believe that the line is also set the way that it is because they are factoring past history into play. Against this projected lineup, Flaherty does have 56 plate appearances and has 18 strikeouts, which is 32.1%, which is more than enough given what his projected outs are right now, which is to go a full 6 innings to get this to hit this number. Now, the other issue that I have is that if they're not going to whiff to this four-seam fastball and they're not going to chase, I also want to see who the umpire is, because there's a lot of guys. It's like top and bottom heavy with chase rate in this Astros projected lineup tonight. I want to see who the umpire is to see, because Jack's fastball, he does tend to try to work around the corners a lot. That's what a lot of guys that don't have overpowering, dominating fastballs will do, is try to clip corners, try to get guys like hit the inside edge of the zone to get weak contact, to induce weak contact swings, foul balls, etc. Right? So whereas you got a pitcher like, say, Skubal or Skeens or somebody like that, that's just going to just rear back and say, here you go, here's 98, middle high, hit this. That is not what a pitcher like Flaherty does, because he doesn't have the velo to blow it by most guys. So I also want to see who the umpire is. That could end up mattering in a situation like this. I will tell you right now that I'm not really actively looking at an over for this one, unless the Astros just totally change their lineup up and give us like what the Orioles did yesterday. I have a note to lean on the under. It's juicy for me, and if we get the lineup that I'm thinking, what I'd actually rather do, and hope I can find a place that will give this to me to make it a go, is to actually take under 5.5 and plus money, because I'm going through the lineup here, and even despite past history, I'm not seeing 7 strikeouts. I'm not seeing it with his road history, both this year and past. I'm not seeing it with the fact that the Astros make so much contact in the zone. Flaherty doesn't have an overpowering fastball to blow by them. And I also see that there's only a handful of guys that chase in this lineup, and a few of them that chase do make good chase contact. So could he hit it? I mean, when his slider and curve are working, it's one of the best in baseball. Yeah, he could, but I'm not seeing it right now. So lineup for sure, but umpire is what I also want to see for this one before I can make any final decisions on Flaherty. But I will tell you that it would take a lot of changes from everything that's projected right now for me to even want to consider an over. So that's Big Jack. Next, the other side of the game. Ronel Blanco gets the Tigers. He is striking people out at an absolutely god awful low 20%. Same, obviously, first pitch time. And we have an interesting line from Mr. Blanco here because it's 5.5 minus 128 with the under basically at even money. This is basically the books version of a pick'em line. Now, I've been on Ronel Blanco's under multiple times this year, have hit it each time. And he, to this 5.5, he is 3-2, but the two hits were the Giants to start the year before they really adjusted their swing metrics, and that was at home. And then the Angels, who are one of the most free swinging, god awful teams in baseball. You can see where they rank on the swing metrics here, all the way down dead last. The three teams he missed against were at Minnesota, which that was when they had poor swing metrics. It's gotten better. St. Louis and Toronto are two of the highest contact teams in the major leagues. So you look at the Tigers for this one, and you see that the Tigers, couple things. Number one is they're not chasing 28.4%, which is well under league average. And you also have that they make contact when they do. They're actually been a pretty decent contact team for the year, which is not something that you would expect from the Tigers, as they have been strikeout candidates recently. Tigers, here's the key point though, and I really hope that this is that they're projected is what they run. 5 lefties, 4 righties. Here's why that's important. Across all 5 starts this year, so this is enough pitches for me to make a determination. Blanco is striking lefties out at, and this is a real stat, 9.5%. 9.5% against lefties, and teams have run ample lefties against them because you're playing the lefty righty thing. So he is not striking lefties out at all. The Tigers are projected to run 5. And if they run these 5, then this is especially an under that I want to look at, because Blanco only operates in the zone 46.7% of the time. He can be wild. He also does not have an overpowering fastball. He actually really doesn't even really have a fastball. I mean, it's called a 4-seam fastball, but but he averages 93.4. He makes his hay pitching with his slider and his curveball. Both of those, spin on those is slightly above league average. Whiff rate for the slider is 45.6%. It comes in at 86 miles an hour. And if we're looking at our clock, it does come in at relatively the same location on the fastball. So it comes in at the 12-1 area. The slider for him kind of zips across this way and in that 11-1 area. So it comes in slower and looks like a fastball coming in. Now, the problem with that is because he throws it at that top of the zone, he can miss high, and he can miss high a lot. If you look at a spray chart for his pitches, you can see that a lot of sliders and a lot of 4-seam fastballs miss high. And so these Tigers against right-handed pitching for the season are walking at a 10.6% clip. That's a really good sign for an under, as is the fact that limited sample size, but in his home starts this year, Blanco was walking guys at a 9.4%, 12% walk rate overall for the year. 7 to 7.5 is about pitcher average across everything. But the 9.5% against left-handed batters sticks out like a sore thumb. And the 5 lefties that the Tigers are projected to run tonight: Carpenter, Green, McKinstry, Jung, and Sweeney. And then I go down and I look at some of their contact rates, specifically wanting to see how many of these guys, or how many of the right-handed batters chase. So the right-handed batters projected: Torres, Torkelson, Dingler, and Javi Baez. In Javi Baez, we know chases a lot. Like we just know that's just who he is. They bat him in the 8 or 9 hole for a reason. His chase contact has gotten a lot better this year. It's gotten a lot better. He used to be a guy, when he chased, he would just hack and wouldn't make contact ever, but it's gotten a lot better this year. So slightly above league average, but he does have a high chase rate. Torkelson doesn't chase. And then, so that leaves Torres and Dingler. Dingler has a high chase rate, but makes contact at league average. And then Green is very, very much above league. I'm sorry, Torres. I'm sorry, I was saying Green. Torres does chase well below league average and makes contact when he does. So you got two in there. You got two that are prime candidates for Blanco to get strikeouts. Then you look at the rest of the lineup and you don't see a ton of chase in this lineup. And then even for the lefties, the ones that do make contact. So I was talking about Riley Green before, 32.7% chase rate, above average, but 60% case contact, which is very good. You also have a number of guys that have some relatively reasonable whiff rates against the slider here. So I do want to see the lineup for this one. I, again, want to see the umpire, because if it's going to be an umpire that's not going to give Blanco those calls when he's trying to clip the top of the zone, then this would definitely be an underlook for me. Blanco has just shown no ability whatsoever to strike out lefties this year, and the Tigers' contact metrics over the last 2 weeks have been quite good. I also compare that with they have a number of guys that don't chase. So if we're going to get an umpire that's going to be a little more friendly here, then the 10.6 walk percentage is quite good as well. So this is one where I do have earmarked to just check back. But if you want to play it now, you can definitely play the under, especially at even money, because I'm going to guess that it's probably not going to be plus money by the time first pitch comes. I would guess it would be like in the minus 115 to minus 120 range. It might even go even further. So that's Ronel Blanco. Next, we're going late in the night, Dustin May. So striking people out for the season, and this is a note that I'm going to come back to. At only a 20.7% clip, but there's a note here. He gets the Marlins, he gets them at home, and he gets an over 5.5 at plus money with the under at minus 128. So here's what I'll say about Dustin May is that, again, more limited sample size, but his strikeout percentage, his road home splits are already showing up big, striking people out at a 32.5% clip at home versus much, much worse on the road. So we go and we see who he's faced. Well, at home, he got the Rockies, so they're a freebie. And he also got the Braves, who were okay. On the road, he got the Nationals and the Cubs, who are two teams that are hard to strike out. So that's where I think that this line is kind of squeezed in the middle of that, and they're taking that into account, is that his two home starts have been against very, very high at the time strikeout teams, and at the time very, very low strikeout teams on the road. Makes sense, because at home he's got 13 strikeouts versus 6 on the road. So I look at Dustin May's overall props for this evening. And, he's been at this 5.5 number once. This was against Colorado. He eclipsed it. He's actually 2-2 to this number overall for the year. His outs prop is up. It was down to 15.5 last time when he was at Wrigley Field, but it's back up to 17.5 tonight. And his hits and walks and earned runs are right where they should be. If you've never watched Dustin May pitch before, is that the man does have some good stuff. So he primarily throws either a sinker or a four-seamer. Both of those average about 95. He can run them up to 96, 97. But the primary pitch that he throws almost 40% of the time is a sweeper, and it can be an absolutely nasty sweeper. It's got over 3,100 RPMs of spin. That's really, really good. If you look at it on a clock as well, he operates diagonally. So fastball and sinker and his changeup, when he throws it, operate in that 1 to 3 range over here on our clock, and then the sweeper runs low and away. So he can really set guys up by pounding the zone up and then just wiping them out underneath. May, from a zone perspective, he does go in the zone 51.6% of the time. So you're looking for an opponent that does have some iffy zone contact. And you go to the Marlins and you see that they are slightly below league average here, but they chase a lot. They've chased a lot all year. They also have chased a lot over the last few weeks. 34.7% contact rate is slightly above average, But May, when he gets guys to chase that sweeper, he gets a lot of whiff. 47.2%. That chase contact rate, that is outstanding for him. And his overall whiff rate on the sweeper for this year is a solid 34%. So I'm looking at an over here. What I want to see is I want to see a number of guys in this Marlins lineup who do chase. And right now, if we do get this projected lineup, there are more than a few. So six lefties and three righties is the projected at this point. But I go and I look at what the chase rate is for some of these guys in the lineup. And Mervis chases a ton. Norby chases a ton. Stowers doesn't chase, but he doesn't make contact when he does. And there are at least Otto Lopez chases a bunch. So I do see at least 5 guys in this lineup that chase. And so if you're going to chase against this man, especially for somebody who throws that wipeout sweeper, is that you are a candidate for the over. Now, the other thing to keep in mind here for these Dodgers is that they did use 4 arms in their bullpen last night because Tyler Glasnow left early. Now, one of them is the long reliever, so that's fine. But you did have 2 relievers. You had Kasparius and Gomez both throw 3+ innings yesterday in relief, and they also used 2 other relievers. So this could be set up for Dustin May, especially with his outs prop going back up. This could be set up for him to have a longer start. Now, some people think, well, does longer start good for Ks or it's bad for Ks? Well, it's always good when you face more guys. You're always good when you have more opportunities for strikeouts. But what it could mean is it could mean some pitch to contact early, especially against the top of the lineup with Xavier Edwards and some of those other guys, that to induce early outs to keep your pitch count low, and then go K hunting at the bottom of the lineup. So what you might be able to do if you're going to be up for this game is to wait for the first inning, maybe wait for the first, maybe even 2 innings. And if May has 17 pitches and let's just say 0 or 1 strikeouts after 2 innings, then you can probably get a 4.5. And you can get a 4.5 at a decent number. Just a different way to play it. What you're really doing is you're banking on that happening, which if I'm looking at his outs prop for the season, I have seen that. So he's been at a 17.5 one time against the Rockies. He did pitch 6 innings and he did hit that. He also pitched 6 innings against the Nationals, and then his outs prop were at 14.5 and 15.5 against the Braves and the Cubs, and failed to meet both of those. So with this outs prop being up, this to me sets up to be a nice start for Dustin May, and also sets up to be a potentially deep start for Dustin May. So you might want to look at his outs as well. I hate the fact that his outs are just juiced beyond belief at 17.5. So I'm not sure that I like that. What you might be able to do is to pair that with something else to get some better value. But this is all set up, especially with the situation with Glasnow only being able to throw 1 inning yesterday, is that Dustin May could have a very, very deep start. So, all right, that's Dustin May, and that's what we got for the main plays I want to talk about today. Now, moving on to other looks, sides, leans, totals. These are just leans. These are things, if you want more action, you can certainly do it. If you, for a plus money, I think a decent plus money spot here is, even though they're on the road, would be the Cardinals at even money against the Reds. There weren't any other money lines that really stuck out to me. Maybe the Nationals at home at plus 143, but I'm not even a huge fan of that one either. So the Cardinals at home at plus 100. And then if you're looking at totals, I think that the under for the Tigers and the Astros can make sense. Opened at 8, down to 7.5 right now. And then the other one that I was looking at would be the under the Marlins team total under was another one for all the reasons that I just mentioned with Dustin May and with his start. So that's going to do it for today. Please make sure to subscribe. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the Daily Bread Network. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate all the love. We'll be back with you tomorrow for a much, much bigger slate. Lots going on. Check it out, and best of luck if you're tailing any of these, and we'll see you tomorrow.